What's up you guys? Welcome back. Today I'm going to be sharing my spring and summer TBR. I actually have another stack of books here behind me. Majority of the books that I am going to be sharing today will have spring and summer settings or themes to them. Others I've just had on my shelf for a long time and I would love to tackle them this summer. I feel like majority of the books that I have are rom-coms, but I do have some literary fiction and some thrillers as well. So I do have quite a bit to go through. I think it's a little bit over 25 books. So I'm just going to hop right in with Anna K, A Love Story by Jenny Lee. This is one that's just been sitting on my shelf for way too long, and I recently did my physical TBR where I showed all of the books on my bookshelf that I have yet to read, and quite a bit of you pointed out this book and was like, read this one, it's really good. So this is a YA book and it sounds, or it's described as Gossip Girl meets Big Little Lies, a tale of wealth, privilege, love, and loss, which sounds right up my alley. So I think I'm really going to like this one. I love the cover and like the colors of this book, so I'm very excited for this one. And got it on sale. Then I have The Garnet Girls. This is by Georgina Moore, and this one I think is going to be a little bit heavier of a read, not so like light and fun. It's about three very different sisters and their free-spirited mother who must grapple with life, responsibilities, and family secrets. And the reason I say this one I think is going to be a little bit heavier and a little bit more reflective is it starts off with the mom in like a all-encompassing love affair. Ultimately, the love affair was doomed from the start, and she ends up leaving her three daughters to run wild on the island that they all live on. So right away, the mom is abandoning the daughters. At the bottom here, it says, The Garnet Girls poignantly asks whether children can ever be free of the mistakes that their parents make. So I do think this is going to be a little bit heavier. The cover is definitely giving me like nostalgic summer vibes, so I'm really excited to see what is in store for me with this book. The next two books I have are kind of in the same vein, not necessarily like the same plot line and everything, but they're both kind of satirical, it sounds like, and poking fun at like the beauty and wellness industries and social media and how it has an effect on the beauty industry. So let's start off with The Glow, which this cover so beautiful, and even the spine is gorgeous. Like, hello summer. This book is by Jessie Gaynor, and I actually found this one in Charlotte when I went there. I found it at Park Road Books, which was a cute little indie bookstore, and I didn't even realize this was an autographed copy until I got home, so that is really exciting. This one is about a desperate young publicist that tries to save her career by turning the charismatic leader of a grungy retreat into a hot new self-care brand. In the bottom little blurb here, it says, it is deliciously deadpan, which I always enjoy. It's a razor-sharp send-up of an industry built on the peculiar intersection of money and wellness, where health is a commodity and self-care a luxury. So I think that this will be an interesting and kind of funny take on the current industry of both beauty and wellness. This next one is more so focused on the beauty industry and how Instagram especially has kind of affected that space. So this is Aesthetica by Ali Rowbottom. In this one, the main character was an Instagram celebrity or an influencer at 19, and now she's 35, peddling anti-aging products to women seeking physical and spiritual transformation. But she too is also seeking a rebirth. She's about to undergo a high-risk elective surgery called Aesthetica, which is a procedure that will reverse all her past plastic surgery procedures, returning her, she hopes, to her true self. And what I really like gravitated towards is the bottom. It says, this is Veronica for the age of Instagram face, all while confronting our collective addiction to followers, filters, and faux realities. Can't wait to get into this one. Next up, I have three books from Abby Jimenez, and as I understand it, these two are part of a series, but they can both be standalone books. It's just like the characters are in the same universe, if that makes sense. We actually almost read Yours Truly for this month in my book club until everybody was like, wait, that's part of a series. Let's roll it back. Apparently there are some spoilers in here for this book, and this one just came out, but I don't think it's connected to these two at all. Definitely correct me if I am wrong. I will be starting off with Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. This one is about trading in the life you have for the life you want. Then Yours Truly, which was actually a Book of the Month, Book of the Year for last year, 2023. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot what year we're in. This one is a novel of terrible first impressions, hilarious second chances, and the joy in finding your perfect match. Sounds so cute. And then finally, Just for the Summer. This one says 4 dates, a kiss, and a breakup. That's all it will take to find their soulmate. I've heard amazing things about all 3 of these books, so I'm excited to dive in. Next, I have Bad Summer People by Emma Rosenblum, and I love the cover of this one. This is one that I really wanted to read last year, and then I never got around to it. So this is a whip-smart, propulsive debut about infidelity, backstabbing, murderous intrigue set against an exclusive summer haven in Fire Island. So this sounds really good, and it's also extremely short. It's just around 250 pages, which is like a perfect light summer read, a beach read if you will. Then I have The Husband Hour by Jamie Brenner, and I think this one is like a darker thriller as well. It says, when a young widow's reclusive life in a charming beach town is interrupted by a surprise visitor, she is forced to reckon with dark secrets about her family, her late husband, and the past she tried to leave behind. This one I actually found while I was perusing half-price books, I think last fall maybe. So I don't know anything about this book. I haven't heard any reviews or anything like that, so we'll see how it goes. This next one has been a highly anticipated release for me this year. This is the reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson. Holly Jackson is the same author that wrote The Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I really like that book. I have the other 2 books in the series, but I always push off reading them for some reason. I need to get to it. So maybe I could do a reading vlog just tackling Holly Jackson books. But this sounds so good. So basically, the main character, Belle, has lived her whole life in the shadow of her mom's mysterious disappearance. 16 years ago, her mother vanished. And apparently Belle was the only witness, but obviously she was so young she has no recollection, so there's no leads. But the case gets dragged up again years later when the Price family agrees to be part of a true crime documentary. And then the impossible happens. Rachel just reappears. She comes back with this crazy story, and Belle is just not buying it. So she sets out to discover the truth about where Rachel Price has really been all this time. So I think this one will be pretty great. Obviously not like summer themed, it's just one that I want to read ASAP. Then I have 2 from the same author, Jane McKinley. I have Wait For It, which has like the perfect summery cover, and obviously summer reading. This one was actually on my TBR last summer. I had packed it for a trip when we went to Cancun, and then I just never got around to reading it, which is a little bit ironic because this book is about a woman who'd rather do anything than read. But she meets a swoon-worthy bookworm, and sparks fly, making for one hot summer fling. So I do think this will be very cute, but I thought it was funny that the main character doesn't enjoy reading, and I just like refused to read it last summer. This one is about a woman looking for a new lease on life, and she moves to Arizona where she rents a guest house on a gorgeous property with a mysterious owner. A man who teaches her about resilience, courage, and ultimately true love. It says that this is a funny, so like rom-com, but big-hearted novel about hope and healing. So I do feel like I might cry. I'm a big crier with my books. Oh my gosh, somebody described this book as Eat, Pray, Love meets Mamma Mia. Adorable. I'm in. Next, I have You're Invited by Amanda Jayatisa, and this one I've had for over a year. Like, it's just been sitting on my shelf waiting for me to get around to it, but I think it's finally time because this book takes place around a destination wedding, and as some of you may know, because I just cannot stop blabbing about it, I am currently in the process of planning my destination wedding for July. So I think this will get me in the mood, although it is murderous, and I hope nobody dies at my wedding. So basically, the main character of this book has had a big wedge between herself and her childhood best friend until years after radio silence, she's invited to the big over-the-top wedding in Sri Lanka. But When she learns that the groom is her very own ex-boyfriend, she is consumed by a single thought. She must stop the wedding at all costs. As the week of wedding celebrations begins and rumors about Amaya's past begin to swirl, she can't help but feel like she also has a target on her back. When the friend goes missing and is presumed dead, all evidence points to her. So this one does sound exciting. I love a thriller like this where it's kind of like a locked room where they're stuck in one place, like stuck on an island. And I have wanted to read it. I don't know why I never grab it. I'm gonna be honest, I think it's the cover. I'm like, this cover's not giving anything to me. Another one that has been on my shelf for a million years, but you guys have finally convinced me to get around to, is Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I really loved Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid, which is where Carrie Soto makes a little cameo. And I liked her fine enough, but I just wasn't sure if I wanted to read a whole book dedicated to her and her life and tennis, because I don't know anything about tennis. I don't even really think I like tennis, but you guys reassured me that you don't have to enjoy this. So basically this one is about Carrie Soto going into retirement after a long run of a tennis career until someone breaks her record and she has to come out of retirement to set the record straight, aka take her record back. Taylor Jenkins Reid always has a way with writing that just sucks you in 100%. So I do think that I am going to enjoy it. It's taken me a while just to pick it up. This one I picked up yesterday. This is Daughter of Mine by Megan Miranda, and Megan Miranda is really great with thrillers that kind of keep you on your toes. Then we have The Summer Place by Jennifer Weiner. Honestly, her books are a little hit or miss for me. I have a few that I really enjoyed by her and some that just weren't for me. The main character of this book gets a real shock when her 22-year-old stepdaughter announces her engagement to her pandemic boyfriend. Hopefully this book is not extremely like pandemic heavy, because honestly I hate those. Like if I see in a little blurb that it like takes place like during 2020 and it's like heavily revolving around that time period, I'm out. I don't want to read it. I don't want to relive it. No. But as the wedding date approaches, lovers are revealed as their true selves, misunderstandings take on a life of their own, and secrets come to life. So I think this one will be messy and dramatic, which I love. But yeah, if you guys have read this one, let me know if it is very like 2020 buzzword heavy. Next up we have Vintage Contemporaries, which has such a good cover. This is by Dan Coyce, and this one sounds like a coming of age sort of novel based in New York, which is already right up my alley. This book starts off in 1991 when Em first moves to New York for all of the excitement. She's working as a literary agent and she's down to her last $19, but she has made two close friends, Emily and Lucy. Then we go on to 2005 and Em is now Emily. So there are two Emilys going on here. A successful book editor, happily married, and barely coping with the challenges of a new baby. Suddenly, Lucy and the other Emily return to her life. Her old friend Lucy's humorous book needs a publisher, and her ex-friend Emily wants to rekindle their relationship. What happened with the Emilys? It says that this book will remind you of the power of fighting for cause, the pain of failing the ones you love, and the happiness of finding your place in the world. So I do think this one is going to be amazing, and it could possibly be a new fave. I don't know. It sounds promising. This one I literally just bought yesterday as well. I'll have a book haul going up for you guys very soon, but this one I was so excited about. I hadn't heard of this. So this is The Shards by Bret Easton Ellis, the same author that wrote American Psycho. And I've actually never read American Psycho, but I have seen the movie a million times. So, I don't know. Maybe I should actually read the book. Bret is a senior at the exclusive Buckley Prep School when a new student arrives with a mysterious past. Robert is handsome, charismatic, and shielding a secret from Bret and his friends even as he joins their tightly knit circle. Bret's obsession with him is equaled only by his increasingly unsettled preoccupation with the Towler. I don't know why I said it like that. A serial killer on the loose who taunts Bret and his friends, Bret in particular, with grotesque threats and horrific, sharp, local acts of violence. This one definitely sounds like it's going to be in the same vein of American Psycho, which is, of course, the reason that I picked it up. So, we'll see how it goes. I think that I saw that this came out in last year, so if you guys have read it, let me know your thoughts. We're getting close to the end, I promise. I told you it was a big stack. This is The Other Half by Charlotte Vassell, and this one just sounds so like something that I would enjoy. Clemmy is dead. Who killed her? Was it the blithe sociopathic boyfriend, his impossibly wealthy godmother, the gallery owner with whom Clemmy was having an affair, or was it the result of something else entirely? I think this one will be really, really fun. I haven't actually heard anything about this book either, which is crazy because it sounds good. I don't know why, but I adore the cover so much. It's the reason that I was drawn to it in the first place. Second Chance Year. This is by Melissa Weisner. Will a chance to relive her past totally change her future? The main character of this one has had a hell of a year. So when she stumbles across a fortune teller that tells her she has one wish, she jumps at the opportunity to redo her awful year. When she wakes up the next morning, she is in her former apartment with her former boyfriend, and her former boss is expecting her at work. Checking the date, she realizes it's January 1st of last year. So as she does this year all over again, she begins to wonder if her only mistake was wishing for a second chance. I think this will be very, very cute. I also have 5-Star Weekend by Ellen Hildebrand, and this is another one that I just did not get to last year. I actually, weirdly enough, I have not read any of her books, and I know she is like the summer queen, like she has a million books. I don't know. I don't know. I never have. This one, our main character is Hollis, and after tragedy strikes, they gather 4 friends from different stages of her life to spend an unforgettable weekend in Nantucket. It's a story about friendship, love, and self-discovery. So I do think this will be a very nice beach read. And obviously, I've heard amazing things about her and her books and her writing, so I have no doubts that this will be a good one. Another rom-com, In a New York Minute by Kate Spencer, and I just love all of the colors of this book. A love letter to New York, a romantic comedy that you'll want to revisit again and again. The love of your life could be just a subway stop away. At the bottom here, it says this one is a laugh out loud, clever, and romantic novel for readers of Christina Lauren and Sophie Cousins. And I actually have I have a Sophie Cousins book on my TBR for summer as well. So maybe if I like one, I'll like the other. In this book, the main character accidentally switches suitcases with somebody while she's at the airport. What she finds inside are irresistible contents, each of which intrigues her more and more. The owner of the suitcase is her dream man. Now all she has to do is find him. But Laura's dream man proves very difficult to find, and as she uncovers family secrets, she may have to reimagine the life and love she always thought she wanted. This one just sounds so cute. I just love the concept of switching bags and falling in love with the owner of said bag. Cute. This next one I've heard so many good things about. This is The Resort by Sarah Oates. The main character of this book, Cass, sets foot on the coast of Thailand's world-famous party island, and she's searching for an escape. With dark secrets following her every move, this has become the perfect place to hide. Years later, Cass is still on that very island as a local dive instructor alongside the Permanents, a group of expats that have claimed the island as their own, and the Permanents don't linger on who they were before the island, simply because like Cass, they all have something to outrun. But suddenly, a dive student is found dead and paradise comes crashing down. Because this isn't the first mysterious death on this island, and it certainly won't be the last. I'm always extremely drawn to these sorts of thrillers. Again, we're stuck on an island, outrunning dark secrets, and all the while you're trying to figure out who the heck this person really is and what they're running from. I have way too much fun reading these. And finally, the last book that I have is Emma of 83rd Street, and this is one that I've had on my shelf for not as long as some of these others, but for some time, and it's definitely been like pretty high up on my TBR. It's described as witty, wonderful, and the best retelling of Jane Austen's Emma since Clueless, which sign me up. I've also heard so many great reviews, so I think this one will be adorable and just really fun. But finally, those are all of the books on my spring and summer TBR. I know it is a lot of books, but I have now until end of summer, so I feel like I can do it. Let me know if you guys have read any of these books and if you enjoyed them and what your thoughts were. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye!